The old concepts of time were substantially different from modern ones. Before the 13th-14th century, the devices for time measurement were a rarity and a luxury. Even the scientists didn't always possess them. The Englishman Valcherius was lamenting the lack of a clock that afflicted the precision of his observations of a lunar eclipse in 1091. The clocks common for medieval Europe were sundials, hourglasses, and water clocks, or clepsydrae. However, sundials only were of use when the weather was good, and the clepsydrae remained a scarcity. In the end of the 9th century AD, candles were widely used for timekeeping. The English King Alfred took them along on his journeys and ordered them to be burned one after the other. The same manner of timekeeping was used in the 13th-14th century, in the reign of Charles V. The monks kept count of time by the amount of holy book pages or psalms they could read in between two observations of the sky. For the majority, the main timekeeping medium was the tolling of the church bells. One is to bear in mind that astronomical observations require a chronometer that possesses a second hand. While we learn that even after the discovery and the propagation of mechanical clocks in Europe, they had been lacking the minute hand till 1550.
This book will change your entire perception of history forever. What if ancient Rome, Greece, and Egypt were invented during the Renaissance? What if the Old Testament was a rendition of events in the Middle Ages? What if Jesus Christ was born in 1053 and crucified in 1086 AD? Sounds unbelievable? Not after you've read History, Fiction or Science by Anatoly Fomenko, the leading mathematician of our time.